One of the things I found interesting with growing probably over the past year or two is now that we've got projects out in the world, I've found more clients who will come and say, well, we really like your style, so we want you to do what you think, which is so nice. Before that, we sort of had like 1 or 2 projects out. We're sort of so young and people are really, they're almost telling you what to do in a way. That has been one of the most rewarding things, I think, when people are like, I like this, but we want you to do what you want to do. And it also just breeds the best projects.
Welcome to Behind the Design, a podcast where we unfold the details behind the designs we know and love and explore how each project comes to life. I am Camilla Ingle, owner of Unfolded, an interior design and styling studio. In this podcast series, we dive into the details with our industry experts, covering topics such as the creative process, latest design trends, and how we, as an industry, work together to meet the brief and overcome challenges. Let the conversation begin.
Welcome back to Behind the Design. I'm your host, Camilla Ingle, founder of Unfolded, interior designer, and someone who's endlessly curious about the people and ideas shaping the spaces we love. Today I'm sitting down with Shona McElroy of Smac Studio. Her projects are instantly recognisable, polished yet deeply personal, and she's carved out a voice in Australian design that feels both bold and timeless. Something I think about often in my own work is how we balance creating something current while also making sure it endures. It's a tricky line between timeless and trend-led. Shona has a distinct way of navigating that, and I can't wait to hear how she approaches it. Shona, welcome to Behind the Design.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you on. And so tell us a little bit about Smac Studio.
The passion for interiors, I think, started pretty young. So mum and dad both are in the space. Dad's an architect and mum's an interior designer. We were like consistently doing houses. So it was a natural fit that I would go into one of those. I actually studied architecture and then found that architecture was too, I guess, long for me and too kind of hard for me. I just liked the quickness that was the interiors, the personableness of that. And then Smac formed a little bit organically and by accident, where I was working for an architecture firm. I got put on like a half-time role and then I started doing some private jobs. And then it's evolved from there where I always thought I might go back to another job at some stage. I just have ended up staying with this little company that I accidentally formed, which is pretty cool. And now I run a 5 people strong operation. I want to grow, but we do private residential mainly, looking to branch out and kind of that high-end interior.
And so, so architecture's 5-6 years?
5.
5.
Yeah, 5. Actually, I made it 6 because I failed a couple of my first year subjects.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at where you are now. Just goes to show, doesn't it?
I was partying. That was the truth.
Yeah. I mean, it's uni years, right?
100%.
Everybody is.
I should have taken the gap year.
It's easy to get distracted
100%.
in that time.
Yeah. And everyone else was partying year after school, and architecture is such a tough degree.
Yeah.
Like, it is intense. You have to be there like every day, 3 a.m.
And so your mum and dad, so your dad was an architect, your mum was in interiors or?
Different firms. So dad has and still does run a very large firm called Altus, which is, I think it's like 50 people. They do master planning, really like big scale stuff. Really actually too big for me to properly comprehend how they get from such big scale to such little scale, because they'll go down to all the interiors, down to the styling. And then mum did residential interior on like another arm, and then dad did the architecture for that. So it was just an all-encompassing childhood of those two always talking about design.
So I guess it makes sense for you to go on in. Did you ever feel that that was something you were like, oh, I better do that? Or was it natural?
I always definitely struck a chord with the creative side of things. For a little while, I was like, oh, maybe I'd go into graphic design or marketing or something like that. Again, I think with dad's architecture being so grand scale, and for whatever reason, I never really looked down the path of just interior design. It was always, to me, architecture or something else. I don't feel like I needed to do it. And my sister's like a lawyer. So it's obviously
The other
wasn't
way.
ingrained. Yeah. And in fact, mum and dad were like, this is a really hard career. Like, it's not a money
Warning.
maker. Yeah. You see how much we work. But yeah, no, here I am.
Yeah, and I guess on that point, that could be something that we unpack, because I think, as you and I were just discussing before the recording, there is a lot to what we do. It isn't just shopping
No.
and buying pretty things and
Oh, I wish it was.
putting paint colours together and then just, making sure it all gets done. There's so many layers, and we were discussing, being all the roles, and when you want to scale the business, being the manager and doing all of that. How do you do all of that, without compromising on the creative side as well?
I think that will forever be a struggle. I think that the compromise on the creative side will always be there until I'm hoping that there's a point where you scale far enough that you become like an overseer creatively and you can get back there. I'm getting there a little bit, I think. I was just saying to you before that we've got a head of operations role, and that was one thing really early that I think I needed to bring on because I was just knew that I would not be any good at it. So she helps to, I guess, take things off my plate. They're a little more admin heavy, a little overwhelmingly like I just don't know kind of how to run this business, never done it before.
Not your wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
And you've got to let those things go to someone who knows what they're doing, right?
Absolutely. And someone I think that is less emotive too. Like it's our business. It's so emotional. Everything that comes our way feels really personal. So she can actually take the emotion out of it for me and be like, okay, well, it's fine that they didn't like the chair you put forward. Let's just go back.
Do not take it personally. But I love the chair. They need that chair.
Yeah, like as if they don't want that. I'm not going back with a fourth revision.
No.
And she's like, great, we'll charge hourly for it. And that's the way the business works. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it is one of those things, like I've definitely learnt with Unfolded how, you can just stay, I'm not going to say complacent, but almost a less aggressive word than complacent, where you just kind of settle with, this scale of the business is enough, and you just settle there a little bit. And then you get the itch and you see others growing and, people like yourselves and so many other studios I see around, and I'm thinking, that's inspiring.
Yeah.
I want to grow that, or I want to be able to take on more work if it is coming in. I want to be able to say yes.
Yeah.
But it is, delegating, right? And having those people in place to make sure that all the systems are running. And as you and I said, then we can go and do the business development and meet with those clients who are keen on moving into a new project with us and things like that.
Yeah.
It's having time for it all.
Definitely. I find that I'm sort of coming out of this middle phase of the business where it was sort of before the head of operations role and we got a senior interior who are both really, really capable and really experienced, and I can lean on them really heavily. Before they came on board was that drowning time in the business for me, where I still had staff, I had clients, and I was doing it all, and I was really drowning. And I think that's might be what you're saying, which is like it can be really easy to think, I want to scale back or I want to stop now. Like this is too overwhelming. But what I have learned since bringing those people on is the right people can actually take that stress away from you and you can sort of rise up a little bit and see the what is it, the sky through the trees.
What is it? The forest through the trees.
Yeah.
And the sky. Maybe the sun as well.
All the things, the clouds. You can see that a little bit. So now as you
like
just
you get
said,
clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so now I can understand how, okay, great. I can see how scaling the business actually might be a great thing for me that's not going to start to feel so overwhelming. It feels like with the right people, it can grow in the right way. I don't know. There's a total time, which you just said, that it's just like, I don't want to grow. This is way too scary.
Yeah. And it's really nice, I think, even for the listeners to hear that if they might be in the same position as us right now, or graduates who are entering the industry, how to manage these types of phases in the business. Because as you say, like it's quite inspiring for someone like myself who might be a couple of years behind where you're at, for example, going, okay, cool. So you can get to that point, and that's what it looks like. And there is a bit of a method. And sometimes it is where they say, have a bit of money in the bank to be able to put into the scaling. Don't expect it to just be that a new job comes in and then you hire someone new. Sometimes you have to hire first. It's like chicken or the egg.
100%.
Hire first, get the team ready. And I'm a big believer in universally, then you are attracting bigger jobs because you're prepared. They say the universe will only give you what you're ready for, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, let's prepare ourselves for those jobs to come in rather than the job comes in and then you're scrambling for good staff.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's as well what you put out there too. Like, I guess what you're able to project is what you get back. So if you go into a client meeting and you are completely prepared, you know how to run the job, you're confident.
You're the resources.
Yeah. And you're also like mentally there. You're ready. You're not coming in like,
Scrambled.
oh, yeah, we can sort of do this by tomorrow and da-da-da. You're like, okay, well, our backlog says that we can fit this in 2 weeks. People just take you so much more seriously.
And you actually come across like realistic too. Like the amount of times I used to say to people, tomorrow or before the weekend or by close of business.
Yeah.
Why am I putting that pressure on myself?
Yeah.
No one's actually expecting that of you.
No.
and then now I'll be like, a week to 10 days.
Yeah.
I'll keep you in the loop if it's going to be any later. No worries. And then they don't bother you for a week. Not that they're bothering, but they don't follow up.
Yeah.
Because they feel certain that you're on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not expected.
It's not expected.
And then the next one's not expected, I think, which is like, if you're constantly jumping at everyone's requests, I think it can be really easy once you start to take those breaks off. And I've done this so many times, and it's something that my head of ops will always be like, let's wait, let's hold off, let's reply tomorrow. Like no one needs to reply right now. Because when you start to take the pedal back off, if something else pops in, that client is going to be like, why haven't they replied to me? They're always on the ball. Like it's better, I think, to leave a little bit there and say, no problems, we'll have that back to you by next week.
Absolutely.
We're all learning. Because so many things pop up in our job.
Yeah.
Like I'll put aside a day and say, okay, well, I'm going to work on this concept today. But then it's, I need, I don't know, a grout color. Hey, I need you to look at the sample. I need this and that. And suddenly this day that you've put aside doesn't exist anymore. And we don't get any more hours. So we're either working through the night, burning ourselves out. But if we've got that little time up our sleeve, that's great. We'll slot it in there.
That's it. And then that's getting back to that creative. Circling back to what we're good at.
Yeah.
And where we thrive in our businesses as well.
Yeah.
If we go into styles, I think it's something I personally haven't covered a lot on the podcast because I'm not overly trend-led.
Yeah.
How do you feel about trends, and what would you say sort of encompasses your direction, because you're quite a bespoke offering in what you do?
I think like you, we're still really young. So I don't know if there's a style that would encompass our company yet. I'm seeing some things and kind of these lineages come through the projects that I'm like, oh, that's definitely a Smac aesthetic, but what is its style, I'm not quite sure. Definitely marble. I think that comes up a lot.
Natural stone.
Natural stone. I do like a trend. I like to understand what about a trend is good or bad about it, but what's making the eye be drawn to it. For example, like arches are such a trend, and oversaturated, they look ridiculous. And in the wrong context, they look so ridiculous. But where they came from, like Rome, Paris, like all of those stunning large archways that have existed for thousands of years, or maybe hundreds. We should probably fact check that.
Hundreds to thousands.
I mean, they come from such a fantastic place. So I think every trend has a basis for it. And unfortunately with clients, we're often asked to incorporate these trends. So I think it's just understanding how to do it correctly, or what the aesthetic appeal might be that they're hoping to achieve out of that. But yeah, in terms of style, I think there'll be trends that come through that we incorporate little bits of. Like right now I love red. I love the color red. If you asked me 2 years ago, would you put a big red sofa in one of your projects? I'd be like, I don't think so. But I've seen it come through in a really great way now that I really want to incorporate that. So yeah, trend driven, no, but I do like understanding how to, I guess, incorporate these things that I wouldn't have thought of before. And I like seeing things come in and out.
I think as well, like just hearing you talk about, you know, the European influence on arches and things, it's kind of like, it makes me feel that trends are actually inspired by something, right? So someone will see something and they'll start it and then others pick up on that. So it's constant inspiration.
Definitely.
From somewhere or something, or from an artist or an architect, as you say, you know, in Rome or wherever. With what you're saying about a red sofa, I'm exactly the same. I think I've said it on the podcast before that it can be quite challenging when a client will bring you, you know, images of, hey, this is what I really like and this is what I'd like to achieve in the home. And then they'll send you Greg Natale's work. And it's like, all right, that's absolutely stunning. For me, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Even though I absolutely love integrating maybe a third of that
Yeah.
into the design. So it could be the feature tile, the rug, the sofa, and maybe the lighting.
Yeah.
But the rest I would probably need to tone down
Yeah.
to create a timelessness. So I think it's such a perspective thing too, right? Like it's opening up our minds to going, how can we take a bit of that? Because it's a trend and people are loving it and I want to make sure my client brief is, you know, met.
Yeah.
But also create my own design from that too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the things I found interesting with growing probably over the past year or two is now that we've got projects out in the world, I've found more clients who will come and say, well, we really like your style, so we want you to do what you think, which is so nice because as you just said, before that, we sort of had like one or two projects out. We're sort of so young and people are really, they're almost telling you what to do in a way. And it's just, I guess it's just because they haven't seen enough of the work or I'm not quite sure, or maybe more inexperienced clients because like we're in a different sort of catchment, I guess. But yeah, that has been one of the most rewarding things, I think, when people are like, I like this, but we want you to do what you want to do. And it also just breeds the best projects. Like if you're constantly being told to be pushed in a certain way, you'd essentially be like, why don't you just design it? Because now this doesn't look like me.
It's not really a production of my work.
Yeah.
And that's what we call micromanagement.
Yeah.
And does that work anywhere?
No
one functions well when they're micromanaged.
No.
Yeah, well, and that leads me to, you know, just having trust with clients, right?
Yeah.
Client relationships are so important. And I think it sounds kind of funny to say, but I feel that I've mentally, emotionally, and developmentally matured so much in the past probably 2 years. And in that time, my client relationships have just blossomed.
Yeah.
Because as you mature, you understand people differently, your perspective shifts, you start to have different types of empathy towards certain situations. And I think in all of that, if you can kind of master having that in the background and obviously bringing in beautiful clients who say, hey, Shona, I trust what you do. Develop something for me. I just like these 6 things and then go for it.
Yeah.
Then you go, great, I've built that with that person and that client. And now I'm just going to do what I do well and get on with it.
Yeah.
And that's so nice to do because that's really what we're there to do.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly nitpicking or people are changing your designs or
Or if I also find if we change our own designs, it's
absolutely
like just starts to
we're our worst enemy sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll want to change something and I need to figure out how to strategically place it so it doesn't open up Pandora's box of ideas very late in the game.
Yes.
So what I guess that's also been a way to try and I guess figure out our creative process and to stop that happening a little bit, especially as we grow. I want the design aesthetic to stay through the entire project. If I were to give it to, you know, other staff, eventually juniors, eventually other people, I want to like learn how to not change my mind. So I guess in line with that is the concept I find is the most important part of our project because it feeds right off the back of what the client has told you. So if you can nail and really show that you've listened to everything that they want and have asked for, But if there's some things that you don't agree with, you say, I thought about this and I think that for your project, this will work much better, blah, blah, blah. And then you deliver them a concept that is really thorough, really aligned, and really impressive. What I found is the rest of the project, they just hands off.
Absolutely.
They're like, oh, I'll leave it to them.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Because you've shown them that you know what you're doing.
Yep.
And it's interesting when I heard you say you've listened to them. I think we need to listen, acknowledge, and understand. And when we show them those three things, the trust is built and they feel heard and they go, you know what? She gets me.
Yeah.
Or he gets me. Those steps, I think, I've found, as I said, developmentally and all the things I've been working on, business coaches and things in the last couple of years have really formed that relationship. And then they just trust you to do, your creativity and everything that you're good at, right?
Yeah.
Rather than having to go back again. And it also helps with revisions
100%.
because that can be really tough.
Yeah. The best projects I've seen come through are the ones that, honest to God, have not changed since concept. And some of them are so weird. I will look back and be like, oh my God, I literally hand sketched that and now it's here in front of me and it has not changed. And it's often the best part of the space because the thought process at that time when you were concepting up the entire house, you're inspired, nothing's sort of muddied the water, whether it be the build costs, the time, the availability, the color palette, all the things you start to stress about through the project, that the clarity of that design thread through the concept is so strong. So that's
and cohesive.
Yep. Concept is, I think, equally the most important, and I feel like the hardest because we need to be creatively there. Like we've got to be in the right creative space, and it can't be a week where things are popping up and down, but you also do have to put a timeline on your concepts. You can't say to the client, I don't know when I might be creatively ready to design your house.
That's it. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll give you a call when I'm done.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. I had a similar chat with Vicello Kitchens.
Yeah.
Do beautiful bespoke joinery on the podcast as well. And we were chatting about the creative process and how you just, as a creative, you become so absorbed in that process when you're really in it. Like I find that our mood boards, they need that detail. They need you to sit and go, how am I going to do each room?
Yeah.
How do all the rooms speak to each other? And sometimes you might have a week where you don't have the capacity to pull that together. And it's not going to be your best work. So you've got to push it out. That's got to be good because that's step one, right? That's phase one of everything.
Yeah.
And it's got to be like kind of secure.
Yeah.
I call it the visual Bible.
Yeah.
And I say, once it's done, it's vaulted.
Can't get back in. Only I can access it if I want to change something.
But it's more just to kind of say, let's really adhere to what we've committed to here. Of course, there's changes because sometimes something's discontinued or what we thought we wanted in a timber, we now want to tile it or whatever it might be. And things change. But I think it helps the clients commit early too and get really, really sure and clear of what direction are we headed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's kind of like what you're saying. If you go in there and say, all right, cool, one round of revision in this one, and then we're committing, I just think it helps them to also get really clear. And they spend a lot of initial time on it with their partner or their family or, whoever's working with them on the project to go, no, I really don't like that.
Yeah.
And then they say it earlier.
Yeah.
Otherwise it comes out in 3 months.
Yeah.
And then that's revision 3. And you're thinking, oh, I wish that we had that chat earlier.
Yeah.
So I'd rather unpack it all at the start.
Yeah. We ask for really, really thorough feedback. And we sit down with them, and then anything that is a little hesitant, I'll ask them straight away. Like,
what's coming up for you?
Yeah, is this not sitting well with you? And often they'll actually be like, I just need to take it home and think about it or whatever, or I need another reference or, And it's funny because usually they'll come back around, they'll be like, I've sat with it. Like this is a good example. We had a dining room that we proposed in this really high gloss olive green, like the whole thing. And I think they were like, what the hell? Like I've just never seen a high gloss full room olive green. And then after like
Not
2
yet.
weeks, they were like, I know mine. It's really good. After 2 weeks, they're like, we've sat on it and now we love it. Now we're obsessed with it. But in the beginning, they were sort of like, oh, I don't know about that.
But they don't know what they don't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we have the time to be able to design and to look at all these elements and say, okay, I think I'm really liking this direction. I haven't seen it before. I think it'll be really stunning in real life. And we also have the knowledge of seeing a lot of these spaces built and done, and we know that the craftsmanship that comes with the work, so we can see the end vision. Whereas for a client, they're just walking in, they don't know what you're about to present them, and sometimes it's a little bit off-piste and they're like, okay, I was not expecting that. But yeah, often they're sort of the magic moments,
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely. And it is just sitting there going, okay, let's talk through it. I'm not just going to show you a photo and hope for the best. Let's actually run through it together.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Unfolded, my interior design studio. From first homes to family renovations, we create spaces that are functional, stylish, and deeply personal. You can see more at unfolded.com.au. You and I sat down recently and spoke about, trends and styles and things. And one thing that came up was modern Spanish.
Yep. We love a modern Spanish.
Love a modern Spanish. And for me, I also had thoughts around, modern Mediterranean and how that's sort of influencing quite a bit of design at the moment. Do you want to share a little bit more about, your take on it all?
It's that kind of like, Kendall Jenner's just moved house, but her house before that was, I think, that LA cool modern Spanish. It's like this kind of older style that has all of these pieces in it that are like a bit mid-century, a bit classic, a bit, I don't know, that it's sort of a weave of all these different things that just says the occupier of this space is really damn cool. Like they sort of will just pick things up and they've well-traveled, and I think that's the modern Spanish med aesthetic that people are drawn to. To put that in practice, I think is really hard because
It's personal.
so personal. It also relies on a lot of stuff, actually, and you would know this as well as I do. Getting clients over the line on stuff is really hard. Like a sofa, that they can go out and pick their own sofa, really, and there's so many things that they want to have out of a sofa. It doesn't need to be the right height, the right color, the right material, all of this and that. So to get that style right, it would almost be like you just take the credit card, you go to all the op shops, flea markets, high-end stores, low-end stores, and go for that. But yeah, that's definitely a trend that I think is coming through hard and fast. I see it a lot on TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest, and it's all done so beautifully. But I think it's a fairly hard one to get right.
Absolutely. And especially with, these days, a lot of these, trends, which I still find quite timeless, is just textual components.
Yeah.
Like rendered walls and how we're rendering them, how the paint's done.
Yeah.
Different finishes, tiled walls, things that we used to just be quite basic about.
Yeah.
People are really exploring now, I should say designers and DIYers are really exploring that type of thing. And that's that way to like inject a bit of, modern med in like a clay coloured wall or whatever it might be.
Definitely.
Adds a bit of mood and then lighting, right? Lighting just enhances whatever you've just done.
So important.
And
lighting did the most important, I find, as part of a project. I feel like the influence of TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram is a double-edged sword. I think used correctly, you can push your designs and get approval from the client, and also inspire yourself in things that you're like, I didn't know that would work. I couldn't quite picture it. And you can find a really great reference of it, which really helps to drive some things forward and make people less scared.
Yes.
But I also think it can create a lot of confusion, a little bit of oversaturation, overstimulation, and potentially a little bit of a Pinterest home, which is just, and you see this a lot, I feel, with maybe homes for sale, or maybe, I don't know, not as experienced or DIY sort of projects where there's a lot of stuff thrown at the wall, which does not hang together.
Should not have been done.
No. And you're like, I know exactly where you got that image from because we know it. Like we see, I can go into a space
do
and be
it
like,
every day.
I have seen that image before. I know exactly that detail that you've just done.
Yeah.
But then you've also done a tiled wall over here and, you know, something really funky here, and it just doesn't look good.
And that's where I think that's the difference between hiring a designer
100%.
having someone like us holistically view a project. Because even small things like how a stairwell speaks to the other stairwells in the house, you know, like the ground floor, the first floor, the second floor, they've got to be, they don't have to match, but they've got to speak to each other. They've got to complement each other. So you can do something funky, but you got to remember when you get to the top of the ground floor, how's that next floor going to look?
Yeah.
How's that going to work? So I find with a lot of DIY images I see, it's, some people do it really well, but a lot of the time you can see that holistic view and an educated kind of experienced person in the industry would be able to just help pull that together just that little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot more.
A lot more, yeah.
I feel like we have such, as interior designers and architects and designers in general, we have the ability to make or break a space, and having our expertise behind a space, particularly one that you might sell in the future, if it's a home that, you know, it's you're all your money and you're about to do a renovation on it. And why would you go in blind? Like, it's crazy to me. Like, you don't write your own contracts. Like, you get a lawyer to do it.
Yeah, it's so true.
And it's so valuable and it's so much money. And I get that interior designers can be a lot of money, but the value on the other end, sometimes I feel is actually a little overlooked in the industry. Just because I think it's one of those things that everyone thinks they could do it. It's like, you know, everyone thinks
the
they
block
could be
and everything. Like everyone just thinks they're just the block. I'll just go to Bunnings and pull it all together, and it's like, oh dear.
Yeah, or I'll just show the builder an image. That's one that like, we'll just show the builder an image. It's like the builder doesn't know how that image pulls together in your space, like with the constrictions of your width, your light, your appliances that you want to use, like all of that sort of stuff. Yeah, I find it interesting. I find the whole saturation imagery definitely a double-edged sword, probably leaning more towards a way that I don't love. And I find that as well where trends come up and they also go out so quickly. So
Boucle.
Like 3 years ago, I would have told my client to buy a $30,000 boucle sofa. Now I'd be kicking myself.
I know.
I haven't. Luckily, I did that.
I was like, is this a real story?
No, it's not. But I would have.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it at the time. So the red sofa.
Yeah.
What if the red goes out?
I know.
And
I mean, see, that's a great conversation, because a red sofa doesn't have to go out. Maybe if it's not, I don't know, is it cherry red? Or is it like a nice, warm, you know, brownie red? Like, because that's where it's like those types of colors, like cobalt blue versus ink blue.
Yeah.
Ink blue's going to last a bit longer, right? It's more timeless, but cobalt blue, I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool.
They might really like it.
I think it depends.
Is it long term?
Yeah. And I think it depends on quality. Like, I still think that there is place for a high quality boucle.
Yeah.
I do. It just doesn't have to be maybe so white.
Yeah. True.
And maybe not as bally. I think every trend has its place, and I think it can look good. I think it just needs to, I think it's just careful how you use it and definitely not oversaturate it. Like, I really think if I went into a really well-designed space and there was a boucle chair there, I'd be like, still chic.
That's it. Still chic. That's it. So if we look at your career as a whole, studied architecture, organically opened Smac Studio, what would you say, you know, on reflection would be high points, low points? You know, has it been quite a roller coaster, or has it been quite a smooth ride for you?
It's been, I would say, relatively smooth in terms of its growth trajectory. I think we were lucky enough to come up during COVID. So we opened Smac, did a couple of our first projects pre-COVID, and then you had that big boom of COVID, which was
2020,
yeah,
2021. Yeah.
people were so interested in the interior space. They were really interested in doing their houses. I think there was a bit more money floating around. The property market rose in Sydney, and there was not people spending money on going out, holidays, things like that. So there was just big renovation budgets.
Yeah.
So in terms of our career trajectory and the way that Smac has grown, it's gone pretty well, and I think pretty smoothly. Personally, it has felt completely up and down. Financially, it's been also completely up and down. There's been these moments where I'm like, I'm rich. And then like the next week, I'll be like, wait, we're dead poor. We really
Take it all back.
Yeah. I think I've never, personally, you just don't deal with the same amounts of money as you do in business, and the way that they come in and go out, and you're dealing with tax and blah, 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 blah.
Staffing.
Yeah. So there's definitely been highs and lows of the business in terms of the way I've felt about it and the way that I felt that it's performing. Like sometimes I will feel like a total boss and I'll be like, I'm doing great and the business is running so well. And then, something will happen, something on site, someone's not happy, something didn't happen the way I wanted it to, whatever it is. And I will just completely be so stressed, like a mess, not sleeping. I don't know. So yeah, I think with any business, highs and lows, I think particularly for me, the highs have been seeing the projects come to fruition. I think we spoke a little bit before about how you kind of grow, and I always put my money where my mouth was in terms of marketing. So watching the projects come from such, I guess, these like sketchy places grow to these amazing spaces and then be photographed and be published at the other end is just a really rewarding time and a nerve-wracking time, because my first projects, I'll tell you the figures on this, I got paid $18,000 to do 2 houses, and I spent like the whole year on them. And the shoot cost me, I think, 21 grand.
What?
I know. I was just like, this is my one chance. These projects are great. I think they will do something for my portfolio. I'm going to get the best photographer. I'm going to get the best stylist. It's going to be the only way I'm going to break that like little mold, because you watch it in the publishing space. The designers that have a lot of work behind them are the ones that are favoured by the media a little bit. My first jobs that I sent out, I got immediate like, no. And then Beck, who now does our PR, she interviewed me for one of these bathroom series. I think it was like an online something or other. And she was like, no offense, but these images are so beautiful. They're shot by the best people. Why haven't they been published in their own right? And I was like, I don't know. I've tried everything. And so she luckily came on board and really helped me to drive that. But yeah, that's been sort of, those sorts of moments have definitely been simultaneously high and low. And then I think as we've gone forward and as we've started to get a bit more media trajectory, that side of things I've actually just left to Beck. I find it too overwhelming, really stressful. It's also a little bit heartbreaking when people say no to your projects. You're like, I put so much into this.
As in publish.
Yeah, publications. So Beck is the one, and it happens all the time. I don't think I know how much it happens because Beck's on the other end of the email, and I think she only tells me the good news.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's been a definitely kind of an interesting part of the strategy, but a great part of the strategy. I'm glad I did that. And my lows come when clients aren't happy, I have to say. I think I'm a people pleaser, 100%. I'm trying not to be so much of a people pleaser. It doesn't serve me very well. There in parts it does, because I'm definitely personable and wanting to, please the clients, and that's good. But I think that there's a point where it becomes a bit too much. So I get very, very upset when things when people aren't happy. And often it's something that is so temporary. Like it'll be like, I don't like the wall color and I feel so upset about it. But then 2 weeks later, when the pendant's gone in and the flooring's been uncovered and the windows have been uncovered and they're not blue anymore, throwing a weird shade on the wall and the sofa's gone in, they're like, this wall color is perfect. And I'm like, fantastic. I was up for 3 nights, like going through the Dulux fan deck. So yeah, that's definitely been, I guess, the low moments. But I'm trying to get myself out of that headspace now and also be a bit more confident in the things I put forward and not second guess it. I'm like, that actually looks great. Even if sometimes I'm like, I don't know if it does at this stage.
And I mean, projects evolve, right? Like we're doing what we do. It does get built, but things can be changed.
Yeah.
You know, you can just repaint the wall if you have to.
Yeah.
But we do, I'm like you get quite set on something being, you know, set in stone, excuse the pun. But it's sort of like, well, it's not. It can be changed. But it's a cost exercise and everything else. And you want your client to be happy. So it makes perfect sense that that's your driver.
Yeah.
But I actually recently learned about people pleasing because I suffered. And I say suffered because I look back, I'm like, God, I was ridiculous.
Yeah.
As to how I just accommodated so much, personally and professionally. And I've learnt recently, in the last sort of 18 months or so, that people pleasing is actually not good for anyone in the way of it's not healthy for us to feel that we have to people please and put our own needs second and or our own thoughts and opinions and whatever else. But also you're not showing up authentically to the person who you're people pleasing.
Yeah.
So they're not actually getting the best version of you anyway. And it's not real in a way, you know, we're not being real when we're people pleasing because it's like a facade, right?
And I just don't think we're garnering much respect either. Like we are business people and a lot of our clients are business people. And once you say that, I'm a business person, we have to.
This is a business.
Yeah. We can't get that done until next week, or this is the price to do it, or this is a change.
This will take me this many hours.
People respect it. And
absolutely.
That's been the biggest de-stressor for me, is starting to have that rhetoric around, no, this is a business. This is a professional space. Like I used to, and I'm sure you did as well, or still do. Sometimes I still do too. Saturday meetings, like
especially at suppliers.
Night meetings, like I do in the morning meetings because sites open at like 7, and sometimes I just like to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But you know,
or after hours during the week.
Yeah. But I'm trying to stop that now. I'm like, no, we're open 9 to 5. I need to go home. Like eventually I want a family. I can't be saying to my family, sorry, kids, I can't go home because, you know,
my client needs me.
Mum's client just wants her to come at 9 p.m. because that's, you know, when she's finished maths and it suits.
Yeah.
Like, like if I could do that, I would. If someone was like to me, oh yeah, when you're ready to look at your interior design scheme, just come over for a drink and we'll look over it. But that's just not professional, and I need to stay professional.
It's like a boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and if you reverse it, yeah, you're right. Like if someone said that to me, I'd be thinking, okay. I mean, like it might be a bit of a novelty.
Yeah, totally.
As a one-off.
So
yeah, this is kind of fun.
It comes over, we have fun.
It's really personable.
Yeah.
But then it becomes like, all right, a bit blurred.
Yeah.
Blurred
Sometimes
lines.
with the PA role as well, I used to find a little bit like,
yes.
oh, I need you this. I need
Too available.
Yeah, too available.
And too accommodating, which comes with people pleasing. We circle back. And so then off the back of that, you know, we always like to talk about, you know, imposter syndrome, burnout. Like, how do you manage all of that? Because obviously if you look at your beautiful Instagram and you present well and you're a lovely human.
Thank you.
There's all of that as a package. You would never think things go wrong, right? And that's hence why we do Behind the Design, because it's unpacking that. What's the reality of burnout?
Oh, it's so real. And it is always the biggest way up for me. I burn out regularly, I would say. I reckon I burn out twice a year to a point where I'm just like, I can't sleep. I like can barely function. I don't like my job. Like, I don't like coming to the office. I feel like anxiety. I don't like to answer phone calls. Weird. But like, if anyone calls me, it's like a sense of panic. That's something I'm starting to like have a little bit less of that, but it is so, so real. And I think that comes with, there's a financial side to it, because burnout to me often comes with, I'm really working hard to push things out the door. I'm really working hard to, you know, keep things on timelines, keep people happy, blah, 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 blah. And then keep it moving financially, so I can try and move the ticking whatever that is of the business and try and make it grow. So I'll work really, 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 really hard for a period, and then inevitably just completely burn out. And then actually I'm unable to do anything after that. I'm in a complete mental block, standstill. I feel like all the work I do is just crap.
Yeah.
And I'm not serving my staff. I'm not serving my partner, and I'm certainly not serving myself. I think it just needs to be watched. I feel like the past couple of months I have given myself a real breather, to a point where now I'm like, I'm way too chill. Like, I need to come back.
Yeah. And you had your Europe trip and
I had my Europe trip, but that was actually kind of, it sounds really silly, but that was kind of stressful. I had a long lead up to the Europe trip where I had told, you know, all the projects, I won't be here for 3 weeks, which doesn't sound like much, but I think things are moving. Things are on site. Everyone needs things to move.
you've got a team. Like 3 weeks is a bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit of time.
Yeah, definitely.
I know what you mean. To the average person, it's probably like, oh, it's only 3 weeks. Everything will work itself out. No.
Yeah.
No, I need to plan.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so in the months leading up to that, I was really strict on the deadlines, because we had promised that we would get things out before I went. Yes. That's sort of how we managed it.
Otherwise, it's all hanging over you. Yeah.
That's right. We were working hard towards that, really, really, really hard towards that. I was like running, and then I just got on the plane pretty much, which is a good way to do things.
Bags somehow just made themselves there, made their way there.
And then during the trip, that was a little bit stressful too, trying to kind of keep up with things but not let it overtake me, trying to give myself that break but not lose touch of anything. I was trying to not respond to things but tell my staff how to respond, so that I still had control of the project, but I wasn't going to be pulled back into the project while I was away. Yeah. Not to say that my Europe trip was stressful, because it wasn't. Yeah. But then coming off the back of the Europe trip, again, really stressful. Lots of work backed up, lots of things to go over, lots of questions to answer. And so then, after that, I just weirdly was like, I'm about to go into burnout phase. I need to take the pressure off myself. And I have been really chilling in a way that is not good. I've
too chill.
I'm like rolling into the office like 9:30, kind of leaving the office like 6:30, which is early for me. Going home, making dinner. I don't know what to do with myself as well. I'm like, do I watch a show? Like, what do I do now?
Where all these hours come from?
Yeah. But now I'm back. I'm back with a vengeance. Like, my designs are really strong. I'm getting things out. I'm working hard. I'm excited. And I like the projects that I have on the board, I like want to present to the client. I'm so just excited about it, keen. My ideas are reddish and claret. I'm clear. Like, so I think it's a real way up, but I'm trying to give myself the time. And also I've watched the finances go up while I've been chilling.
Yeah. Got to keep an eye on those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, time to get back in the saddle, I think. But it's tough. It's tough going through those burnouting times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one because, I've experienced it, and just hearing you talk about it reminded me of what actually happens to us during that time, and mentally we disassociate.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what causes, creative block, not excited about things that used to excite you. And I remember the first time I did, because I read this, like I Googled the symptoms.
Oh, my God, me too.
I was so confused.
I'm like, what is burnout?
Yeah, what are the symptoms of burnout? Give me the top 8 or whatever. And I was like, tick, 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 tick. And I was just sitting there like feeling really quite numb. I was like, oh my God, okay, at least I know now. I have some certainty around what I'm experiencing. And then, it's making the steps to go, how do I find that happy medium between too chill and not being a complete vegetable with my business? Because people are always going to have to come to you for something.
Yeah.
So we do have to be available and we do have to be on, but where's the boundary?
Yeah.
You know,
For me,
for clients, for ourselves, for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's a time management thing. I think what caused me to burn out in a lot of ways was I had my email on. I now actually have my email off my phone. So, like, I don't get the notification.
Yes.
But I can still go into it. I try and put my phone to the side when I've got a task to complete. And I try and get little things done in the morning. And then I'll look again at my email in the afternoon. And I've just thought, the bigger tasks that I need to get out, they're the ones that are going to back up and get me really, really stressed. And it's the little tasks that come up that kind of take away all that time, which means that you kind of you feel like you can't function properly and you don't know what you're doing and you don't know where your time goes.
Because you're a bit overloaded. Because
Yes,
you've got too many tasks just hovering.
Yeah.
It's like, do you write things out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like pen and paper still.
Yeah, so
to this
I
day.
got Monday and I got all these different like task, to-do list, admin things. And now I do it with a Post-it note. So we've got a Post-it note on the bottom of our computer screens. Everyone gets one at the end of the week with their tasks.
Yeah.
And in the priorities. And then we'll say like, okay, and we'll say it to each other. It keeps us accountable, I think. This morning I'm going to get out this, and this. And then I'm going to focus for the rest of the week on this. And if I finish that early, then I will jump on your thing or I'll jump on that.
Yes.
So that's been a really helpful tool.
Good team.
Yeah. Yeah, God, I love our little team.
Collaborative too. You know, like I'll help you out and we can bounce that together. And
Yeah.
you've got to be like that, right? In a creative space.
Yeah. Oh, the team is the most important thing. I mean, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, I think just being able to have these people that you can lean on so heavily, they can lean on you, and also everyone's really excited. Like we'll sit down at one of our concepts and it's like we're throwing ideas around. It's like, I was thinking about that last night, or I saved this because I saw it last night, and it's just so cute. I love seeing that. It's something that I've kind of struggled with a little bit, to let the creative freedom go. But the team I've got now, we're all kind of on the same trajectory. We want the same thing for the project, but they also respect that, I don't know.
You own the business.
Yeah, a little bit, which is hard to say, but
it's your say at the end of the day.
yeah. And the questions, it's like, I'm thinking this, what do you think, is what they'll say to me. It's not like, this is my idea.
Yes. And we're going with it.
Yeah.
Oh, are we now?
Yeah.
Also, does the client want that?
And it's just an easier conversation. So yeah, I'm hoping that burnout will never strike me again, but I'm sure it will.
I think having that self-awareness of going, oh, I think I'm about to go into a bit of a slippery slope.
Yeah.
What can I do and it could just be a Saturday morning in bed,
Yeah.
because I'm so up and at 'em all the time. And I'm naturally an enthusiastic, ambitious, energetic human. So I will always be like that. But when is my downtime?
Yeah.
When is my moment of just Camilla and doing something that is a bit wild, Saturday morning watching Netflix, even if it's sunny?
I've moved into my recent apartment, I've just renovated.
Yes.
And
Edge clear?
it's,
That's
it's
looking beautiful.
So divine. I love it so much. But that is also like the space around me has become my total sanctuary, where I feel like I don't need to fill my time with all of these things to get out of the house.
Yes.
To be candid, I lived in a share house before this. I saved up all my money to buy a property, and I was like, I'm not going to move into a rental space that's going to cost me the same as a mortgage. I am going to buy a property.
Good on
So that's
you.
what I did. But my last share house was like me and 3 boys, and I was like, I have to get out of here at all times.
Completely different dynamic to what you've got
Totally
now.
different. And now the space is quiet and I can light a candle. Like you're saying, I'll sit on the couch on a Saturday morning and just read.
Yes.
Or
Even read a paper book.
Get
Get off the screen, you know?
Oh, I do love the Kindle. I'm a real Kindle addict.
Okay. But then they're really good for light, right? They've
They're
got
so
the new...
Yeah.
So I used to be like, why are we doing this? It's like an iPad, but my dad loves his Kindle. And he's like, no.
No,
The
you have to
screens
get
are
it's
good.
completely different. It's
Really?
like a page. Yeah.
Oh, maybe I need to invest.
It's like $150 to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not even an investment. That's not too bad.
That's a cheap one. I think you can get like bougie ones.
The
but I got
affordable
cheap
range.
one.
And then, with imposter syndrome, is that something that you've ever
Yeah.
experienced? Yeah.
All the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. And I actually hope that will never end, because I hope to always be leveling up to a place where I feel like I'm a little bit out of my depth.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be bad, does it? Imposter syndrome.
I think it's good. I think it's
A little bit of it.
Yeah, a tiny bit. I think if you can be confident and still back it up and know what you do is really great. I think it just means that you're in a space that's a little bit above where you just were. And I think that that's awesome. I think if you're ever comfortable in a space, we need to be moving. But I try and dress for imposter syndrome. That's the way I do it.
Love that.
So if I'm at like an event or something where I'm like, oh my God, there's so many designers here that are so much bigger than me, so much, they've got this great portfolio and they're so well known or editors or whatever it is, I will just be like, okay, the one thing I can do is try and present well, be really, really nice, and try and speak to everyone.
Put your best foot forward.
Yeah. And I think I really have a thing with dressing for the day and dressing for, I guess, the person that you want to be and the things you want to put out there. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel, I don't know, like I can go out and present well.
Yeah.
But then there'll be days in the office, obviously, I'm in sweats, but that's because I'm there to sit at the computer and work that day.
Absolutely. And you've got to be comfortable. Like, that's a big one that's sort of come to light, I think, ergonomics, and what we do when we are sitting there on CAD.
Yeah.
Or mood boarding or researching for clients. Like, you might be at your screen for 9-10 hours.
Yeah.
I just wear activewear with my joggers and my denim jacket. Like,
Yeah.
got to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to get, it's all too much trying to or be dressed up all the time.
Yeah, it's just
hair and makeup. It's like,
You've got to have the crazy hair day.
yeah, I literally just put my cap on. I'm like, that'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess with imposter syndrome as well, there's a funny thing, I think, in Australia that I have heard. I've never lived in the States or anywhere else, but Australians, I think, are very, there's like the tall poppy syndrome. I do think that's a thing. I think that there's a funny way that we shouldn't be putting ourselves out there. Like, you got to be humble, you got to be relaxed, you got to be chill to be Aussie. So therefore it's a little bit harder to be like, look at all the things that I'm doing, look at all the things that I've done, and putting yourself and your best foot forward on social media out in the world, I think is a really challenging thing to do. I ended up getting someone to do our Instagram just because I was like, I didn't know how to do it properly, and B, I sort of, I was struggling with that a little bit, to put myself out there and be like, look at this, look at me.
Yeah, look at me, I know. Look at the job that I'm working on.
Yeah.
I know, it's daunting.
It is really daunting, but I think it's so necessary. I just don't think anything comes from not putting yourself out there, particularly from a design. Like, what we do is so visual.
Yes.
Like, you can't just talk about it. We've got to be.
It's like our portfolio, our
100%.
Instagram, other than our website projects page.
But no one knows to go to the projects page until you're on social media. They hear about you and then they go there and look at all that amazing stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I think I'll always struggle with, is putting ourselves, particularly me as a person, which I'm doing a little bit more of at the moment because the apartment's just come out and it's the only space that I can continue to photograph.
Yes,
I get it
absolutely.
again without annoying a client. I just annoy my boyfriend. But yeah, that's been, I think, another sort of level of imposter syndrome as well.
And so in all of this then, you've obviously had quite a bit of press recently, a few projects featured. What's next for you? What does the end of the year look like and leading into 2026?
We've just shot, I think, one of our best projects ever. Probably the project that I think is the most aligned with the Smac brand, me personally. The clients were super open, it was quick as well, so the decisions were made really early.
Right.
And like I say, it's one of the ones that concept to completion looks identical. It's actually weird. I'll do some like befores and afters. So we've just shot them, or just shot that one, and I'm hoping that will come out, and I'm hoping that will kind of get us into a little bit of a maybe a new era of projects that I'm hoping is more aligned with that aesthetic. We're still, funnily enough, our portfolio is quite broad in terms of its aesthetic because I have changed my aesthetic so much in the past 5 years.
You do work with a lot of bold colours and stones and things
Yeah.
as well. But there is that cohesion with what you do.
Yeah.
There's a thread.
Yeah, definitely. And we do have more pared back projects that some people will come to us for that aesthetic, but that sort of misaligns with us a little bit now. So I'm hoping that this next round of projects that are probably more aligned with us will bring in clients that are more like that.
Okay.
We are also launching a collab with Low & Co,
Nice.
which is an amazing hardware company. The girls are out of Adelaide. They're so cool. I think my favorite thing about doing those collabs is the people behind it, like watching them and the way that they build their brand. That is so amazing. And we've just launched one with Harley as well, which is our second one.
Harley Ruds. Yeah.
Rug collection. And I love them. They are so cool.
I love the woven one.
Me too.
That's really cool.
I'm not
You've
allowed
got that in your apartment, don't you?
Yeah, I do. That's the Vincenza, I think, which was inspired by the Bottega weave.
So
And you should have seen me. I'm like, I want a weave that goes up and down and in and out and looks like it actually weaves. And they're like, okay, make it happen.
who invited her?
Yeah.
This is a lot.
Yeah. And they're like, God, this girl's going to cost us so much money. But that one is actually sick. It's so nice.
I think it's beautiful.
And I want to have a big Christmas party.
Oh, with your team?
Yeah. I just want to celebrate. So that's towards the end of the year for us. And then, I don't know, to infinity and beyond
Well, I mean,
after
it's
that.
already September, so
How crazy is that?
yeah, it'll fly by the time you do all those things.
I know.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of projects to pump out as well, which I went to the office the other day. I'm like, right, September. By December, we need to have finished. Boop, 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 boop. But
Yes.
everyone's like, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exciting. Well, thank you for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and just having a really authentic chat about what you do. And it's so nice to understand more about Smac Studio. And so where can people find you?
On Instagram, we are smac_studio. We've got, and smac without the K, so SMAC. Shona McElroy is that. And then we've got website, www.smacstudio. So that's it.
Oh, well, thank you for coming on Behind the Design.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good to have you. If you enjoyed this chat, please follow the show, leave a review, and share it with a friend who loves design. I'm Camilla Ingle, and this has been Behind the Design. Until next time.